special occasions. Yeah. Not always. Just like all the crack family's annoying. Yes. I do enjoy occasionally bringing it up.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you know, maybe I feel like I have as well, but like...
Yes, you better that's not happening. Yes. My husband's a musician who knows all those guys.
Oh, okay. There you go. How long are you here till? Yeah, okay.
I just followed it and then got the whole
Hello everyone, family and friends. Would you like to come and take a seat, please? Thank you.
Yeah. This way. Yeah, you forgot. You sure we're in here? So.
Okay, everyone up the back, if you want to come down, I know that there's not room, but come down and squish as much as you can. And once everyone's come in, I will invite you to come in nice and close because it'll feel more intimate if you can come in as close as you can. There's room down the side, on the side of the table for now. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I just wanted to let everyone know that Briony and Elaine have asked me to let you all know they would love you to be fully present with them. Please keep from Oh, I wonder why we're getting a squeak. Please keep from taking photos during the ceremony. Make sure your phones and iPads are turned off, please. Anna, who you'll see up the front, she's here to take all the pictures. She'll do a fabulous job. So, thank you so much.
Gonzalez, this wouldn't be making a squeak. Do you have any idea? Should I stand anywhere in particular? Stand away from the speaker?
I think this is the closest speaker over here.
We gather today on the traditional and unceded lands of the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people whose continuing connection to the land, sea and community we acknowledge. We pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome everyone. Hello family and friends. Welcome to the wedding. My name is Kate Morgan. I'm an authorised celebrant and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today to help you all celebrate the love. Don't they look amazing? Put your hands together for them again. Now, I am going to ask the people at the back to just come right up the aisle. Now that we've got plenty of room, we want you to all feel nice and close. Let the people down the sides come in as close as you can. There's people behind you, so keep walking forward. It'll feel nicer if we're a bit closer. Thank you. On behalf of Briony and Elaine, I'd like to welcome you all, those of you who've travelled from near and far and those who are watching safely from home, with a special welcome and their gratitude to Elaine's family, who've wrangled the vagaries of international travel in the middle of a pandemic to be here today. I'll be honest with you all right from the start. I've fallen for these guys myself. I'd marry them myself, probably. Not that I need to tell any one of you what a very special couple Elaine and Briony are. When we first met, I got a sense of how very important family and friends are to them both. They told me this: our guests are people who have supported us in our relationship and as individuals over time. They've helped us shape us to become the people we each fell in love with. Some have been our role models for a good relationship. They've given us acceptance and room to be ourselves, shoulders to lean on when times were hard, a kick up the bum when needed. Some of them have literally rescued us from peril. Our families of birth and our families of the heart. Each of them have given us something intangible but important. Elaine and Briony would like to begin the ceremony by honouring their own parents who are here today. As their mothers came down the aisle, they each added a rose to the vase behind them, a symbol of the coming together of their two families. Ernest and Chari, Anne and Frank. As loving parents to Briony and Elaine, you've nurtured and supported them over the years in many thousands of ways. And on their wedding day, they would like to say how grateful they are for the unconditional love and guidance you've always shown them, and for how warmly welcoming you've been to each of them. So may I ask you four up the front, do you give your blessing for this marriage?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. So Briony and Elaine, with the blessing of your families, will you each add a rose to the vase to symbolise your union? So we're now going to take a moment to celebrate Elaine and Briony's daughter, Cosima Rosario Ann Kyagan Davis. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. Kyagan. I tried to practice. Cosima was born in the middle of Victoria's second lockdown, at the peak of the first wave. And some of you here today were heroes to Elaine and Briony during this time, offering support in big and small ways. Alongside her grandma and grandpa, her ama and yeye, Briony and Elaine especially want to thank Cosima's godparents, Kat, Clay, and Justin Bennett, and her aunties, Emma Osborne and Tamara Manning, who is with us virtually, for your encouragement and advice. The Uber Eats vouchers, the Zoom movie nights, the long late night calls, and the nerdery generally that kept them mostly sane and intact. For others, this is the very first time you've met Cosima. In fact, her ama and yeye, her Manila aunts, her uncles and cousins, and her uncle Alex only got to meet her in person just a few days ago. So we're going to have a little crash course in all things Cosima. Her favourite colour is pink, much to Briony's chagrin. She loves feeding ducks at the creek and dancing and the Wiggles. Apparently there is photographic evidence that she once loved broccoli too, but turns out it was just a phase. Her favourite word is no, and her second favourite word is mummy. She's cheeky, funny and sunny. She likes ham as much as her favourite character, Ponyo, and she learned to crawl just because she wanted so badly to pat the cats. She learned to run just because it was fun. So I'd now like to invite Kat Clay to come up and read a poem from Ursula K. Le Guin's anthology, Always Coming Home, in Cosima's honour.
I've got the words here. I'm so blessed to be able to read this at this beautiful wedding. Please bring strange things. Please come bringing new things. Let very old things come into your hands. Let what you do not know come into your eyes. Let desert sand harden your feet. Let the arch of your feet be the mountains. Let the paths of your fingertips be your maps, and the ways you go be the lines of your palms. Let there be deep snow in your inbreathing, and your outbreath be the shining of ice. May your mouth contain the shapes of strange worlds. May you smell the food cooking you have not eaten. May the spring of a foreign river be your navel. May your soul be at home where there are no houses. Walk carefully, well-loved one. Walk mindfully, well-loved one. Walk fearlessly, well-loved one. Return with us, return to us, be always coming home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can put your hands together for her. So my favourite part of creating a wedding ceremony is finding out how it is that these two, or in this case 3, beautiful people find themselves in this very spot, this precise moment in their lives where they're standing up in front of all of their family and closest friends, about to make vows to last a lifetime. And I have to say that I was thrilled to discover that the love story which emerged from these 2 gorgeous women is the cutest of all time. A tale of knitted bobble beanies, kittens, sci-fi cons, board games, thumb wars, writing dates in comfy cafes, and imaginary menageries. With a passion for writing their own story, quite simply could not have begun with a more befitting first chapter, a chance meeting at a state library book reading event. Briony remembered that it was a perfect Melbourne day, the sun was out, the air was crisp, and there was a queue out the building and halfway down the block. She described the scene. By the time I got into the auditorium, it was filling up, and I was anxious to find a place to sit. I spotted a woman in a bobble beanie which was so cute she looked like a gum-nut baby. She was bent over a notebook, scribbling furiously, and the seat beside her was empty, but the row on either side was full. Maybe she was waiting for a friend. I asked if the seat was taken. She looked up from her notebook, and all I remember is the light dancing in her eyes and a smile that lit her whole face. I thought to myself, wow, she is cute. The seat was free, and Briony sat down. Elaine recalled the same moment. A dark-haired girl with brilliant eyes asked if the seat was taken, and we started talking as if we'd been old friends and hadn't seen each other for a long time. Briony asked what she was writing about in her notebook, and Elaine described a sentient, spacefaring city that ate dreams and shared a symbiotic bond with the psychic inhabitants of its ghost-filled streets. Now, that was a sentence to get my head around. Thank you. Briony thought to herself, I have to either know this woman or consume her brain. And that was it. These 2 normally quiet, shy, bookish strangers began an energetic conversation. They chatted about what they were reading, watching, studying. In fact, their conversation was continuous, except, thankfully, to listen to Neil Gaiman read and when he signed their books. At the end of that particularly exciting literary event, they exchanged numbers and emails. A moment of hesitation followed, but finally, after a push from a friend, Briony reached out. Elaine gushed. To my delight, she messaged me a few weeks later, do you want to catch up? Elaine said, I am passionate about books and stories because of how they forge connections between people. And as it turns out, they are the key to how I met the love of my life. Elaine explained that when Briony asked her out, she was inexplicably happy. She said, I just loved spending time with her. My world was brighter and happier with her, and in time, that was how I knew I'd fallen in love. Forget sci-fi or fantasy, this is one proper little fairy tale. And true to the genre, of course, over the years, things between them just blossomed. Elaine and Briony have created a wonderful life, filled to the brim with all the good stuff. Together they love snuggling the kittens, reading side by side, reading out loud to each other, talking about reading, or bouncing story ideas off one another. They enjoy making extravagant plans for the house and garden and then following those plans slowly. And not least, making terrible yet awesome moral and romantic choices in BioWare RPGs. I had to Google that, guys, for those of you who don't know what it is, and it is an online, strange-looking, warring game. Not entirely warning, apparently. Of course, they adore their new life as a little family, taking Cosima on adventures and watching her become her own little person. At the time of Cosima's birth, because of COVID lockdown, their plans were out the window. But when it came time, what Briony remembers is how amazing Elaine was the whole way through, braving it out physically and emotionally for long hours and treating the whole situation with good humour. Elaine remembers Briony running around, making sure she had food and coffee nearby, her audio books on speaker, texting back and forth with Elaine's mum, advocating for her at the midwives and holding her hand the whole time. I asked Elaine what it is that she loves about Briony, and she said this: I love that Briony is so thoughtful and empathetic and kind. On a one-to-one level and on an ideologically one, she believes we are all responsible for each other. I love that she is practical and methodical. I love that she is silly, practical and methodical, but I also love how silly and punny she can be. I love that she is tolerant of her weird girlfriend and her need for a menagerie, and that she is willing to hear me out on the craziest story ideas and the faces she makes when I tell her what they are. Elaine does admit that they're very different and explain that sometimes Briony is a little too serious and that she is more reserved. But life is better together. She said, I didn't know I was queer before I met Briony. I feel braver when I'm with her, and I've become a fuller person because of her. Briony described Elaine as passionate, creative, a whirlwind. She said this: I love Elaine's spontaneity and her ability when writing to take disparate ideas and work them together. I love how much she loves it when I tell her she was correct and what a nurturing soul she is, and that we can be completely silly with each other. I love that we are still discovering new things about each other so many years on. And so Elaine can be a little bit fanciful, apparently. But together, explained by Briony, they tend to balance each other out. And Briony also said this: I think we've achieved things together we could not have done on our own. And no one else makes me laugh the way Elaine does. Elaine and Briony knew for a long time that they would always end up in the spot you find them here today, about to make these vows. And so once marriage equality was finally announced here in Victoria or Australia, Briony waited what she thought was an appropriate amount of time, which was about 10 minutes. And that is how, in their kitchen with a self-braided loop of string, Briony got down on one knee, and here we all are tonight. Let's hear it for them again, Briony and Elaine. I am duly authorised by law to solemnise marriages according to the law. Before you are joined in marriage in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I am to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage according to the law in Australia is the union of two people, to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life. So I should come and stand in between you now. Do you think I can come and stand in between you? If you take a step forward, and you can face each other.
Whoa.
All right.
Do you want to pass your flowers on to your mums? All right. So you can come and hold each other's hands now and face each other. You can face each other. Thank you so much.
Briony and Elaine, you've come here together today to offer each other the precious gift of love. I think I have to stand over here. I just don't want this to squeak. Elaine and Briony, will you accept each other as you are, each loving what you know of the other and trusting what you do not yet know, to go hand in hand on life's great journey?
We do. We do.
Do you each promise to support each other, honouring your marriage with integrity and respect, and valuing each other's growth and happiness alongside your own?
We do. We do.
And do you promise to meet the challenges of your life together with open-mindedness and resolve, and to cherish and nurture your shared loves and joys?
We do. We do.
Okay. Elaine and Briony will now exchange their marriage vows and rings. So they're going to begin with the legally binding wording and follow with some personal promises they've written. So could we have the rings? I think they're in that box, aren't they? So who's going first?
Elaine is.
All right, so take Briony, give her your ring. I'll put this down. Right, so just take a step forward. Oh yeah, you can come to this side, that's right. Face each other. Right, so just read the first part.
Okay.
You can put the ring halfway on her finger if you like, just so it's halfway on. Yes, lovely.
That's
And you just-
Briony's vows.
This finger.
Yes. With this ring, I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Elaine Margaret Wong Chuking Kuyag Keng, take you, Briony Jane Davis, to be my lawfully wedded wife. With this ring, I seal my love and promises to you from this day on.
Thank you. Put the ring on. That's fine. You just do like that. Okay, you like. On a different finger, if you like.
Different hand.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
perfect. And I'll hold the microphone for you. Do you know
Okay.
where to go from here, dear?
Yeah. Dear Briony, from the moment we met, it was as if two impossible things had happened all at once. I met someone wonderful and new, and yet I felt as if I met an old friend I had lost and found again. Love can grow from a moment, but love is a choice. Love is action. Love is something people enter into with intent. We were in our 20s when we met, and we grew up together. We lived through each other's storms. We shared incredible joy. When times were hard, we lived for small moments together. We lived through a pandemic, raising a baby through a pandemic. Sometimes it feels as if we are living through a time when the world is unraveling. But I remember that our parents lived through terrifying times themselves, that they chose to love each other and raise families regardless, in defiance and in hope. I remember that we cannot choose the times we live in, but we choose what we do, and we choose who we spend our lives with. We chose to love each other every time. What I learned about being someone's spouse, someone's partner and support, what it means to love someone when you are both struggling, I learned from you. I am grateful every day that we have found each other. These are my vows, which are what I learned from our years together, from the examples provided by our parents, by our brothers and sisters. As your spouse, I vow to share our joys, to have patience when love demands, to speak words when they are needed and share silence when they are not. I promise to be your ally in conflict, the mother to our daughter and sister to your family. I promise to provide comfort in adversity and illness, and above all, love in all things, as you deserve to be loved.
to swap places just because I'm worried about the music. So just swap places. I'm worried about the sound. Take a step back. Just, yeah, that's it. Go this way towards me. Ring halfway on her finger. And just read the. Just read the first part.
All right. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Briony Jane Davis, take you, Elaine Margaret Wonchu King Guya King, to be my lawful wedded wife. With this ring, I seal my love and promises to you from this day on.
Put the ring on, yep. Take the book. And now you can, I'll hold the microphone for you. She'll be okay, I'll keep it. Okay. You're going to hold it?
Yeah.
All right, good. Hold it close to me.
On my way to the State Library all those years ago, I knew I was going to meet someone remarkable. I just thought it was the award-winning, published everywhere and every how author whose name was on the ticket. The warmth of your eyes, your mischievous smile, your evident passion for scribbling in notebooks, your sparkling brain caught me by surprise. But they're not all I fell in love with, only the things that struck the first spark. I love your dedication and commitment to bringing the worlds in your mind onto the page. Your incredible laughter, your drive to nurture, to see right done by those you care about, your strength under pressure, your kisses, your absolute silliness, all of it and all of you. But what I love most of all is that element of surprise. We surprise each other constantly. You'd think we'd be better at knowing everything about each other by now, but it turns out when you love someone, you set out to grow together, and in growing, you change. The remarkable person that I met all those years ago is an award-winning, published all over the place author now. But better than that, she is a wonderful person. I'm endlessly proud of you and humbled that I get to share life with you. She's okay, she's okay, she's okay. So today, as I stand with you, I promise these things. That I will see every day as the new adventure that it is and face it with you, side by side and hand in hand. That when you are plotting a course to your dreams, I will be the wind at your back, and I will let my arms be your safe harbour in a storm. That I will always make space and time for you, no matter what, even if we have to sew a pocket dimension in the fabric of the universe to get it. That I will do the work of caring for and raising our little family, the human and the feline, and the whatever else may come. That I will always try to be worthy of your love. In science fiction, it's a common truism that in a trillion different futures, that a trillion different futures are possible in a trillion different universes at any given moment. But the future that I would choose would only ever be the future that I get to share with you, now, ever, and always. I love you.
Just playing over here. Thank you. Elaine and Briony, today you've pledged yourselves to each other joyfully, freely, as equal partners in life. There is just one thing to do before we finish up today. And I'm going to ask all of you guys here, every one of you, even you up the back, to help me with that. Because when I spoke to Elaine and Briony about what was most important on their wedding day, it was the idea that all of you, their closest friends and family, would be involved in the ceremony. Every couple exists within a larger community, a special network of family members and close friends who play an important and significant role in their lives. And for Briony and Elaine, you guys are those very people. Their families of birth and their family of the heart. And so today I ask all of you to not only witness their union, but will you join me in helping to marry them? Are you all up for that? Great, that's really good news. Could family and friends, you please repeat after me. Elaine and Briony. Elaine and Briony. By the love that brought you here today. By the love that brought you here today. We now declare you wed. We now declare you wed. So say we all. So say we all. Thank you very much. You may kiss. Thank you.
Let's hear it for them again. I really shouldn't have. I'm smart. Every time I do, I'm winning something. Oh, shocker. Every time. I mean, anyone's especially, but like every time. Absolutely. Celebratory glasses. Something good. Does anyone have time? My phone. That one's yours, honey. Very. I pretty much starting the stitches I think about 6. Beautiful. Plenty of time. I'll tell you what I take you to. Yeah. I think I just done that. Perfect. Me and Vanessa have a little bit I finished it while the ceremony. I know, Vanessa turned around and was like, you're right, I'm like, I love that.
Like the unleashed. Like little lights and
Much to me if I know where you be. No, it isn't easy living here on this Goldbush Mountain. So maybe you could cut me just a little slack. Would it kill you to be civil? I've been patient, I've been gracious, and this mountain is covered with wolves. Hear them howling like describe you. Cradle can't keep my heart going. I'm holding to you, my one true love. I'm thinking about you all the time. I'm thinking about you making me smile. Honey, I'm sitting on top of the world, just thinking about Tell me what makes you weary. Tell me what lights up your eyes. I'll meet you there in the middle. Here we are. Tell me what keeps you honest. Tell me what keeps you I'll always come in the morning. We'll lay down and tell me what moves you ready.
I'll change my mind. Peer pressure.
Is it peer pressure and power suggestion?
Yeah, that one. The power of pressure.
You've been
When
like,
I was on Bunnings, it was that vampire week.
the heart rate.
Very hot.
It plays at Bunnings now.
And there's residual effects from it. I don't think people are quite back to where they were.
I heard Courtney march on the gold the other day.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm a little bit more socially shy.
You really need to warm me up. Maybe I should have seen that.
Not the island.
I went to somebody's 30th birthday the other day. It was like, oh, your children.
Oh, is that the... I mean, I saw the Lin Manuel Canto, and I really enjoyed that. It was one of those lockdown. Oh, is there a guy to it? Wow, look.
When I'm not doing marking, it makes some Kirby and 13 Sentinels. Honestly, Kirby has been my game of the year. It's more serotonin and injected into my brain.
Just wait. I'm gonna go look into this.
13 Sentinels is very good. It comes across as very anime, but it's like every single trope in the world combined into one giant Franken trope. And
This is the one we just watched the Zero Punctuation review. Or maybe it's...
he is wrong about the combat. The combat's actually fun. He's a liar.
That's something I've noticed. Well, that's something I've noticed with it. Oh yeah, it's easy. Combat was pretty cool. Maybe it was well behind and do that. Well, also because he plays it in like a week, and so it's kind of hard to say the combat's so shallow. You can pick one move and use it on the whole thing, so obviously you the combat's boring. So like the quickest way to get to the end of the game.
But yes, no. You would enjoy the chapter with the with the talking cat, talking cat and assholes, and like voiced by the same person as what's his name? Vice and Nier. Play Nier.
I tried, I was an excellent play class, and I did the intro. When you get to the big boss, and then I died to the big boss at the end of the intro, and then there's no set, and you start the intro, and they're like, that's hard, so no, I'm not getting that. Screw you, Dave.
Oh, that's Nier Automata, that's a bastard. Yeah, no. Nier
the remake is...
Yeah, the remake. It's less of an asshole that way. I mean, it does still not let you do fast travel, and then bitches at you when you try to do fast travel by saying it's going to break your feet. Like, that's a certain time you
Acts like a kid.
I too hate that fucking first fight in Nier Automata. It's bad. And I have an Elden Ring, and I started it, and then I said, I'm not allowed to continue until after my thesis is completed. So, yeah, well, I was like,
I would get home and play it.
I've never played a Souls game in my life, but I have beaten Hollow Knight, so I feel like I have at least experienced suffering.
I find solitaire much easier. Oh, okay. Well, maybe if I am too big to platform the way I do myself, harder than solitaire. I feel like solitaire is decent perfect club, probably in touch quickly. Whereas solitaire, like, sort of, if you know the enemy, you can go with your planning and place the... You want to go different? Because I could go really fun. We finished that drink, we can go different, but I want to sleep to get to So go to Victoria Street on this side of the road. Yeah. Yep. And just keep going and you'll find it. So it's maybe a couple hundred metres down. I'll keep it focused. Yeah, it really wasn't actually that much fun. Yeah. Well busy.
Very hard.
I just drink it slowly.
What's it be?
Together for war, so I am happy. All I've ever wanted for them. And Pearl has been like, this is not my son. Why did you give me a replacement for like 2 years? So sort of adds to the experience. Witcher 1 was assuming like objectively, this feels a bit sexist, and then by the time the Witcher 3 came around, I was like, this game is too long. I just played Dragon Age Inquisition, so I was like, that's not a back-to-back experience. Colin definitely gave me an RSI, which is now impacting all its time. Colin
Oh, yeah.
Which pixel platforming tension. Also, it was like, I was playing it on the Switch before I realized these modified controllers were a thing, so it was like... No, on the handheld. Yeah. I have 4 hands. 300 hours. Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Those controllers are fun.
Yes, I stand. So, I don't really love this game, but I think it's too great damage to actually And I got put enough to be like, I can keep going. So then it was just like being but I am nothing if not stubborn. So Nancy's words have nothing. I have practice. I need to get I need to practice right now. I need to store it by words. But like once again, I found my way into this cave which is full of words, and like it seems like something I should be able to be into, but it's not, and that's because I am a sad.
Good evening, everyone. We are going to start speeches in just a moment, so if you would like to top your drink up very quickly or get a good spot, I believe we'll be over here by the grazing table if you want to know where to look. Are we good? Shall we start? Well, welcome everybody to this beautiful day. It's a gorgeous Melbourne day for a wedding. And the first thing that I need to do, my name's Emma, and I'll just be tying all the speeches together tonight as your little MC. The first thing I actually do need to mention is that we have a lost handbag just behind the bar. If you left your handbag down near the front, it's just a little black number. It's just behind the bar. So just let the bar staff know if that's yours, and I'm sure we will find the owner very quickly. So the first thing I need to do tonight is to welcome our gorgeous brides, announcing them for the first time as a married couple, our wonderful, glorious friends, Elaine and Briony. Oh. I think this is where I give you the microphone. Yeah, come over here. All right, we ready to go? Here's the microphone. You're on.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming and being here today. It's so wonderful to see you all, and everyone who has travelled from afar to be here. It's amazing that you have made the effort to come in the current circumstances. And everyone who's watching at home, thank you so much for choosing to be a part of our wedding as well, even if you couldn't do it in person with us. It really means the world to us. So thank you. We love you all. And are we going to cut the cake?
Yes.
Yep.
The cake is being cut now.
Okay.
What? According to the running sheet.
Yep. Yep.
Cake now? Okay.
Cake now.
All right.
Oh, there it is.
Allegedly, we are now cutting the cake. I don't think anyone can remember the running sheet, so we're just going to wing it.
We're very sorry in advance.
It all tastes the same.
It all tastes the same. That's right. That's right. Thank you very much. Really?
Oh, that's going further.
The cake is being cut, sort of. Woo! The cake is cut. Celebrate. The brides are now going to eat some cake because they've had a long day, everyone. I'm sure they have blood sugar that needs to be topped up. So we'll just give them 1 second. Whoop! It landed on the plate, so everything's fine. Beautiful. If you can't see from where you're standing, this is all very cute.
That was very dainty.
Don't die before you get the cake, Briony.
Elaine is getting a very large piece of cake ready for Briony. Here we go. Beautiful. Everybody clap. Okay, so I guess we should start with the speeches now. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the father of Briony, Frank Davis. Welcome, Frank. You're very welcome.
Do I have to use this thing, do I?
You can if you like.
Okay. Now, I have to stand here in front of you. Hang on a minute. Get some bits of these. Oh, there's a camera, is there? Very good. Yeah, stand in front of the table over there. Do I have to press anything?
Let's just speak straight into it.
Well, good afternoon, evening, everybody. It's good to be here. It's been waiting a long time for this to happen, actually. It's finally come to happen. I know that it's already been mentioned, but it's really good to see Charry and Ernest and Ian and Christine and Chris and Krisha were able to make it over from the Philippines for this occasion. We had a bit of a worry there for a little while that not everybody could. So that's one thing that I wanted to mention. There's a few others that have come from North Queensland and Queensland, far North Queensland, Dougie, and my family as well from a few different places. Everybody, it's good to have you here tonight. There's a few things I want to go on about with Briony.
Remember, it's only a 3 to 5 minute speech now.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to look for the particular piece here. Where was it? It was over the back. I can't do it.
Are you sure it's not on the seat?
She was born in Townsville in the base hospital. It was a great day, that one. I'll never ever forget it for the rest of my life. And we were living at the time in a two-bedroom tin house in a place called Tin City, the Burdekin Dams construction site. Because of the advent of Briony into our family, we wound up getting another third bedroom craned in about 3 or 4 months later. So thank you, Briony, for that little thing to start with. Yes, we went from about a 50 to 60 square metre house to an 80 to 90 square metre house. She was the first child, and so her mother took her responsibilities very well to heart. One of the things that was on her diet was skinned grapes. She used to skin the grapes and feed Briony the grapes. It's a wonderful thing. Went on from there to smoked oysters, cabana, cheese and crackers. And as her siblings, Alyssa and Alex, came to the family, this became called the funny lunch. And we still have them today whenever we get together, and that isn't often enough. School days. Briony always vied to be top of the class or as close as she could possibly be to it. She struggled a bit with maths, but, well, you know, everything else was no problem, except for the fact that she frantically worked on assignments to the very last minute before they had to go in. Some things that some people, well, a lot of people probably here don't know about Briony. She was very good at sport. Taekwondo was one thing that she took up, and she actually made it to blue belt red tip, so watch out. She was fantastic with the technique. The coach, so good, a coach wanted her to compete in the technique at any competitions, but no, Briony ran away from that one. She was also a great swimmer. she once swam a 1,500 metre race at the school carnival. Well, about 700, 800 metres, I think it was. That was when they fished her out before she was going to sink to the bottom. But she did get 1 point for her schoolhouse. Ballet was another activity that she took up with vigour, and she did it in Townsville and then in Mackay. And I remember being at an Eisteddfod performance, and the girl who had finished before Briony's turn finished and left, and Anne and I were both sitting up in the crowd. There's a big crowd there that day. And we waited and we waited and we waited. We thought, oh no, she's not going to turn up. And the next thing, Briony came flying out from behind the curtains and she landed virtually in the middle of the stage. I had to take a little skip to the right, steady herself, and then she did her routine. The whole of her routine was done with eyes as big as saucers, and then she promptly left. It wasn't long after that I think she decided ballet wasn't for her. So we went on from there. That's all right. That's not part of the show anyhow. Now, she's had a bit of forgetfulness from time to time, and good luck. I remember one time she was involved in the Anzac Day Parade in Mackay, which goes up the main street of Mackay and all the other streets, crowds on each side of the street, watching all the kids and people going past. Briony got to almost to the big marshalling, and no music sheets for her. She'd left them at home. So Mum frantically raced around, found somebody else's music sheets and wound up in our office, and photocopied them off and got frantically back down there, and it made it into the march. So that was one little forgetful moment. Left a wallet on the tram in Melbourne within about a week of getting here, and miraculously rang them up, found out that it had been retrieved with no loss of anything out of it, and was able to pick it up. Now we come to the meeting with Elaine. First time, State Library, she met Elaine. What was it? I imagine there was something like, "Is this seat taken?" were the words spoken. "Indeed it is not," was the response from one to the other. So what a pair they were. Talk about go find a room. Anyhow, 4 hours later, after a wildly elated Briony lost her phone. Couldn't find it anywhere. Had to be in the library. So upon contact with him, yes, here it is. So it was great luck indeed. She found the phone, but most importantly, she found her love, Elaine. And so began 14 years ago the journey to today. That's it. Thanks very much. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you, Frank. That was beautiful. Thank you. And for our next round of speeches, we have Elaine's delightful parents, Ernest and Rosario Kuyikang. Could you guys make your way to the front? Beautiful. Round of applause. Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear family, relatives and friends, welcome and thank you for honoring us with your presence and on this very special and significant occasion. With my wife, Chari, and my sons, Ian and Chris and their families, I congratulate Elaine and Briony today and for their 14 years together. They are a shining example of a great couple, great moms, and wonderful persons. We hope to see more people like them. Today, I'd like to share with all of you our journey with Elaine from her birth to the person she has become and where she is today. When Elaine was born, my wife and I, being of Chinese descent and second-generation immigrants to the Philippines, wanted to raise our daughter in the Confucian tradition of hard work, discipline, love, respect for elders and authority, and strong family orientation, traits we believe would form her core and enable her to achieve her goals for a happy and fulfilling life. And in the back of our minds, naturally, we had a bias towards business or commercial activities. As parents, we like to plan for our children's future and hope they follow our advice. But our children are their own persons, so our projected path for Elaine was not to be. Elaine was different. She could not, or she refused to adjust to the cultural milieu in school in the Philippines. Her being different began to manifest itself. During her elementary school, she had no close friends and she had mediocre grades. She also seemed confused as to why she was different and felt very guilty about failing our expectations. As parents, we were also confused as well. We raised her in the same way we raised our two sons. We sent her to the sister school where Filipino, Chinese, and Filipino families send their children to. This private school is famous for imbuing productive values in their students and training them for success in the business world. Furthermore, her math was lousy, and computing net profit was never in her mind. How can this happen to a third-generation Chinese child? In all the confusion, we knew, even then though, that she is very intelligent, so the mediocre grades was really a puzzle. With the help of a child psychologist, research and prayers, we began to understand that she belonged to a different world, unfamiliar to us. She would thrive in a different cultural milieu, and we needed to help her find that world. So for her secondary schooling, we sent her to Brent, an international school. Of course, foremost in our minds was a concern that she would be de-Asianized, so to speak. But it was in Brent and within its milieu that Elaine began to bloom. She started to write and grow as a person, and a writer to our expectations. She was now in the honor roll. Her gift for writing became manifest. One of the best moments for me was when her teacher showed me one of her poems, a beautiful, well-written poem, which was one of the teacher's favorites. For college, it was obvious to us she would not fit in the schools in the Philippines. Another decision to go outside our box and comfort zone we had to make. She would have to go to a school with emphasis on the arts. We chose Melbourne. We did not really research, we just surfed the internet. We went through the best schools in Asia, and Melbourne came out. So little do we know that Melbourne is such a great city, and that the University of Melbourne is the best in Australia and in Asia. The next big decision was where she would live after college. Again, Melbourne was the obvious choice. Literature and the arts thrive in the city, and with its libraries, museums, and having an international crowd. However, staying in Melbourne meant one must find work in the city, and to stay permanently, one must apply for citizenship. Elaine graduated with a degree in education and English as a major. The degree in education contributed to a favorable points in seeking citizenship. But landing a job in that field was a difficult and trying process. It took time and much effort, many times over. It was a difficult time for Elaine, and we could not help her. Fortunately, events fell into place, and a public library hired her, and the library is always a good home for her because of her passion for reading and writing. Elaine loved her job. The next chapter in Elaine's life opened when she met Briony. It was a surprise for Elaine and for us as well. We needed to process this new development, again, outside the box for us. But we saw and witnessed, even from miles away, a successful relationship unfold, born out of true love and genuine devotion to each other, of persons of the same sex. In any kind of relationship, what more can you ask? Elaine continued to write her short stories, focus on themes we are unfamiliar with, her use of words and images that were out of this world, especially for us, reading mostly financial statements and business projections. I have no words to adequately compliment her writing. Let me just quote from one review that I read. Rich, dense piece of world building in just 5,000 words. It's lyrical and beautiful, soft and gentle and brutal. The crowning glory is an award she won for her short story on The Alchemist's Daughter. It was one of our proudest moments. In one of her interviews, Elaine described the journey in her life and how she coped with her multiple transformations, living in a country away from her family, being an immigrant, discovering in her early 20s exactly how different she is from others, and totally accepting and embracing this new knowledge of herself, her differentness. Yes, we're truly proud of you, Elaine. We journeyed with you in your transformation, but you did most of the work to become someone you and all of us can be proud of, loving, caring, honest, dependable, respectful, uncompromising, productive. You use your gifts and talents to the full. You had to take an unfamiliar route to find fulfillment, and I must admit, it was also a trying time for us.
Sorry.
But it was a worth journeying with you. Elaine, it took us time to understand and appreciate your journey. I hope you understand that we've always wished only the best for you. We altered our perspectives and did the best we could in a way we knew to be able to celebrate each leap forward in your journey. We are creatures of our culture, and despite our own Western education, the culture pool is strong. So many decisions out of the box, but there's one more. You advised us of your and Briony's decision to have a child. Though in a not too usual way, we knew you would one day want to have a family, and we welcome your decision of having Cosima. We all love her, and with you as her parents, we are certain she will grow up to be just as wonderful as the two of you. In a wedding speech, the father is supposed to advise the couple on how to maintain and attain a meaningful and fulfilling relationship. I think it's the other way around. Elaine and Briony have been together for 14 years, and we clearly see they're very happy together, loving, caring, and respectful of each other. Briony, you brought stability into Elaine's life. You helped her, give her direction, and nurtured her when she needed it, guided her in this journey when she met you. We saw a change in Elaine's outlook in life. Being with you has made her happy and content. As a last statement, I wish to thank my wife, Chari, the epitome of the Confucian model, for caring for Elaine so much and for helping her in times of distress, always loving Elaine despite the differentness. And I pay tribute to Chari as I see how Elaine has become an outstanding person. But still, I must do my duty and give some gems of wisdom to the couple. I chose a quote from Lao Tzu, of course, it has to be Chinese. Being loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Congratulations, Elaine and Briony. Your love, care, and respect for each other will last forever, and we know you will show the same care for Cosima as you guide her through her own journey. Thank you for listening. Sorry, was I too long? Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. That was also very beautiful. We have one final round of speeches, and we'd like to welcome Ian and Christopher Kuyukeng to the front, Elaine's brothers. I'm sure this will be a fun one. Here you go.
Hi, Timmy. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ian. I am the younger brother of Elaine. I'm here with my parents, Ernest and Chari. I'm here with my brother, Chris, Krisha, and Nicole. I'm here with Christine, my lovely wife, Christine. She's a very supportive wife, so supportive, in fact, that she wanted to check my speech tonight. She proofread everything, so Elaine and Briony, no need to worry. Happy anniversary, Han. We celebrated our anniversary yesterday. Elaine and Briony actually reminded me, so I really have no excuse to forget our wedding anniversary, and neither do you guys. I'm here with two of our three sons, Lucas and Timothy. We unfortunately left our one-year-old back at home. It was going to be quite a task to bring them here, but that's our family. I'm happy to meet Frank and Anne, Alex and Alisa. Glad to be part of the family. We haven't met many of you, friends, colleagues of Elaine and Briony. I'm not Australian, but I do hope to meet all of you since we are all part of their lives. A few weeks ago, Elaine asked me to deliver a speech. I actually felt quite touched and privileged that I was going to speak for you tonight. And then you found out that I had nothing to say a few days ago. And I have to say that she was quite shocked, but I have to also say,
I trusted you.
I won't disappoint. But I have to say that it took me much shorter time to write your speech compared to writing for Christopher's wedding. I don't mean to give away any ages, but I've known Elaine since June 24, 1983. Yes, I'm the older brother of Elaine. I'm 3 years older. We were actually quite happy together as siblings until our youngest brother, Chris, came along. Yes, we had a very happy childhood. Yes, there was lots of playing, early morning bats together before going to school. 5:30 in the morning was pretty early. Yes, normal stuff that kids do together. Then things got very interesting when I became a teenager. Elaine went to an all-girls school, and you guys know what happens when a guy becomes a teenager. I wanted to date one of Elaine's classmates. Then things went into disarray when she transferred schools, and I didn't get to know any of her friends anymore. Elaine has a strong resilience and a strong character. She never gives up once she sets her mind on something. That was very evident with school. That's very evident with her writing and in her arguments with me.
I'm sorry.
Elaine is very thoughtful. She would always allow me to play with her stuff. Then I found out it was all ponies and dolls. But most of all, Elaine is very loving. She cares 100% for everyone she's around. Me and Chris, my mom and dad, our family, and yes, that counts animals too. Elaine loves animals very much. It doesn't have to be family. It doesn't have to be friends. She's considerate to all. And that's what makes Elaine such a great person. Great job, Briony, in finding Elaine. Amongst family, you know, we never really talked about who we were dating or seeing, but I have to say that I'm very happy when I found out that you were seeing each other and that you would be getting married. It was the happiest that I've seen you, Elaine, and I'm very grateful that you shared that part of your life with us. Briony gives that stabilizing presence. I know you both love each other very much, and in fact, maybe Christine and I can get some advice from you, since you've known each other longer than I've known Christine. Elaine can have a full range of emotions in just one sentence, and that's where Briony comes in. I know there was never any doubt of your commitment to each other, and I could always see that whenever we were on Zoom calls or when you would come over to Manila. Hope there'd be even more. So guys, don't worry about marriage. As I said, you've known each other longer, so it's not for me to give you advice. Again, since you're married on May 6th, there's no excuse for both you and us to forget our anniversaries. Marriage is a great occasion to celebrate. And just remember that the best three words to say are not, I love you, but she's always right. And that applies to both of you. We really wish you both all the best, and we love you very much. You're both great moms to Cosima. I'm very happy to see her. and we will always be here for you. Love you very much. That's Briony. And here's Chris.
Thank you, Ian. Part number 2. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Elaine's true younger brother, or brother number 2. Those of us who know Elaine will know her as a wonderful, conscientious, and loving person, an avid reader and writer, but for me, I will always remember her as my Achi, Elaine, or another term in Chinese for elder sister, or otherwise known by mischievous younger brothers everywhere as someone for me to torment. Although as kids we didn't always get along with each other, as time went on, I must have missed her. I mean, heck, I followed her 6,000 kilometers from Manila to Melbourne, Australia. And just like a good elder sister, I am happy to report that she did take good care of her younger brother. She always made sure that I was stocked up with the latest supplies of student and college necessities, aka mee goreng, instant noodles, and generous servings of Nutella during breakfast. She also treated me out for dinner and movies on occasion. Indeed, when it comes to our sister, conscientious and loving, which she has always been to her immediate family, which no doubt she will always be to her family, now with Briony and little Cosima. I will recall just quickly the first time I had a glimpse of Briony and Elaine was back in 2008 when I was walking along Swanston Street together with a friend. And I will say friend because my wife is here. Elaine and Briony were walking down the street, and myself and my friend were on the opposite end. Elaine sees us, and she comes rushing up to me, hugs me with not a word, but has that look in her face that says, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that you finally have a girlfriend." In any case, it should have been me that went and hugged you that day, if history is any judge. Briony, having gotten to know you more, I think you are a wonderful, good-hearted person, and we are so happy to welcome you into our family. I feel really good now that I can finally call you a sister, another elder sister, again, someone that I can torment. I have no doubt that the two of you will continue to make a great couple. Cheers.
Well, I think that's it for speeches, everybody. So let's just give it up one more time for Elaine and Briony. Oh, do we have one more speech? No more speeches. No more speeches. Okay, let's give it up for Elaine and Briony, the happy couple. Woo! I think that's all. All right. Now let's all grab a drink. Beautiful. All right.
Perfect.